Drop the knife or I'll kill you right here. Marcus Cole didn't move. Blood ran down his arm. 3 armed men surrounded him. Behind his back, a woman he'd never met pressed against a wall, sobbing. He had $43. No home, no family, no reason to die for a stranger. But the knife was already swinging toward her throat, so Marcus stepped in front of it. The blade cut deep. He screamed. He fell. And as his blood pooled on the cold linoleum floor, he had no idea that the woman crying over his body was married to the vice president of the Hells Angels. 145 bikers were about to find out what he did. Subscribe now, stay until the end. Drop your city below. Let's see how far one man's courage can travel. $43. Marcus counted it again. 2 20s, 2 1s. A crumpled single he'd pulled from a gutter in Reno. His hands shook. Not from cold, from hunger. He shoved the money back into his pocket and pressed against the wall of a closed mechanic shop. The Nevada wind bit through his jacket like teeth. "You're pathetic," he whispered. 28 years old and you're counting pocket change like a kid. 3 months ago, he'd had a life. A real one. Construction foreman. Decent apartment. A woman named Rachel who said she loved him. Lies, all of it. His phone buzzed. He checked it hoping for a job callback. Final notice, 847, outstanding. Legal action pending. Marcus laughed out loud, just laughed alone in the dark because what else could he do? Sue me? He said to no one. Take everything I've got. It'll buy you a tank of gas. Across the highway, a truck stop glowed against the black desert sky. Desert Oasis Gas and Grill. Half the sign was dead. His stomach cramped. He hadn't eaten since yesterday. 1 cup of coffee, sit somewhere warm, figure out the next move. What next move? There was no next move. Marcus pushed off the wall and started walking. The bell jingled when he pushed through the door. Warm air, burnt coffee, bacon grease. For 3 seconds, Marcus felt human again. A red-haired waitress looked up from behind the counter. Her eyes ran over him, the torn jacket, the dirty jeans, the stubble. Her expression changed. Pity mixed with caution. Marcus knew that look. He'd been getting it for weeks. Just coffee, he said. Black. $2.50. He paid with 3 ones and took the chipped mug to a corner booth. The place was mostly empty. A couple truckers staring at phones. A heavy guy working through a plate of eggs. The Eagles playing low on the speakers. Take it easy. Marcus almost threw the mug at the radio. He wrapped his hands around the warm ceramic and forced himself to breathe. That's when he saw her. End of the counter, dark hair in a ponytail, early 30s, leather jacket, expensive real leather. She was stirring tea she hadn't touched. Round and round, round and round. But it was her eyes that hooked him. She kept checking the door. Then her phone, then the door again. Her knuckles were white on the counter edge. Marcus knew fear. He'd grown up with it, his old man drinking himself stupid while the power got shut off. His mother flinching every time a car pulled into the driveway. This woman was terrified of something. Not your problem. He looked away. You've got $43 and nowhere to sleep. He sipped his coffee. Mind your own business. The door banged open. 3 men walked in. Wrong. Everything about them was wrong. The first one had a shaved head and a scar from temple to jaw. Knife scar, the kind that tells a story nobody wants to hear. He moved like a wolf entering a henhouse. His eyes locked on the woman immediately. Diana, the name cut across the diner like a blade. Your husband thinks he can hide you out here. The scarred man smiled. Ugly, cold. Thinks I won't find you. Diana stood slowly. Her face went white. Ray, please, not here. Not here, Ray laughed, gravel scraping metal. Where then you think there's anywhere Vince can hide you from me? The 2 men behind Ray spread out. One was built like a fire hydrant, short, thick, all muscle. The other was thin and twitchy hands, never still. Your husband forgot what he owes me, Ray continued. Maybe I need to remind him. He grabbed Diana's arm, fingers digging deep. Maybe I sent him a message he can't ignore. Let go. I don't think so. Marcus watched the room. The trucker at the counter suddenly found his eggs fascinating. The drivers in the booths checked their phones. The waitress vanished through a door marked employees only. Nobody moved. Nobody ever did. Ray yanked Diana toward the exit. The muscular one grabbed her other arm when she fought back. You're coming with us. When I'm done, Vince Steele will remember why nobody crosses Ray Donovan. Diana's desperate eyes swept the room. They found Marcus, and he saw his mother's face. He saw Rachel walking out the door. He saw every person who'd ever looked away when he needed them. He saw himself becoming one of those people. No. Tim. Ray turned. What? Marcus stood. His legs shook, but he locked his knees. Let her go. Silence. Then Ray started laughing. Real laughter, like Marcus had told a joke. Look at this. A hero. He looked Marcus up and down. What are you, homeless? Some bum looking for a warm spot. I'm someone telling you to let her go. The laughter died. Walk away, Ray said quietly. Now I'll forget you exist. No. The thin man pulled a knife. Hunting blade. Serrated edge. Light it, caught the metal. Big mistake, the thin man said. Marcus's heart slammed against his ribs. He hadn't thrown a punch since high school, but he couldn't walk away. Not this time. Last chance, Ray said. Marcus grabbed his coffee mug and hurled it. Swear. Hot liquid exploded across the thin man's face. He screamed, dropping the knife clawing at his eyes. The muscular one released Diana and charged. Marcus sidestepped in. The man's momentum carried him into a booth. Tables crashed. Salt shakers flew. Ray reached behind his back. Gun. Marcus grabbed a chair and swung. The chair connected with Ray's arm as the gun fired. Bang! Fire ripped across Marcus's upper arm. He felt blood hot, immediate, but he didn't stop. The gun skittered across the floor. Run! Marcus shouted at Diana. Go! She froze. Now! She ran. The muscular man was up again. His fist caught Marcus's jaw. The world tilted. Floor rushed up. Marcus hit hard, tasting blood. The thin man had recovered. His scalded face twisted with rage. He'd found his knife. I'm gonna gut you. He advanced slowly. Leave you bleeding right here. The muscular one planted a boot on Marcus's chest. Ray picked up his gun. He pointed it at Marcus's head. You just threw your life away for a woman you don't know. Ray's finger found the trigger. How's that feel, hero? Marcus looked up at the barrel. Strange how calm he felt. When you've got nothing to fear. At least I did something. The kitchen door exploded open. Diana swung a fire extinguisher with everything she had, metal connected with Ray's skull. The sound was wet and hard. Ray dropped like his strings got cut. The gun fired into the ceiling. The muscular man's head whipped around. Marcus grabbed his boot. Twisted. The man fell. Marcus was up. He grabbed Diana's hand. They ran. Cold air. Desert night. Darkness everywhere. Behind them, shouting, cursing men getting to their feet. This way, Diana gasped. Warehouse complex. They sprinted across cracked pavement, through desert scrub that tore at their clothes. Gunshot. Marcus felt the bullet pass his ear, close enough to feel the air move. Another shot. Another. Keep going. He pulled Diana faster. Don't stop. His arm was screaming. Blood soaked his sleeve, warm and wet. His vision started to blur at the edges. They reached a rusted water tank, ducked behind it. A bullet pinged off metal inches from Marcus's head. Diana was gasping. Thank you. God, thank you. Later. Marcus peered around the tank. Flashlights cutting through darkness. Coming closer. We need to move. My phone, I dropped it. I can't call Vincent. Your husband, the biker. Hell's Angels, vice president. There's 145 of them at a gathering 10 miles from here, but flashlight beam swept past their position. Marcus pushed Diana flat against the ground. Footsteps on gravel, getting closer. Come out, come out. Ray's voice. He was up, bleeding, probably, but up. You can't run forever. Marcus looked at his arm, blood dripping from his fingertips, pattering on dirt. He was running out of time. When I say run, he whispered, you run. Warehouse lights. Find a phone. Call your husband. Diana grabbed his good arm. What about you? I'll buy you time. No, you've done enough. I've got nothing to lose, Diana, nothing. He pulled free. You have a husband, people who need you. Her eyes glistened. Please, she whispered, don't die for me. Something cracked in Marcus's chest. Here he was. Homeless, broke, forgotten by everyone, and a stranger was begging him to live. First time in months anyone had cared. I'm not planning on dying, he said, just planning on being really annoying until help shows up. Despite everything, Diana smiled. You're crazy. Probably. The flashlights were 20 yards out. Run, Marcus said. Diana squeezed his hand. Then she was gone, sprinting toward the warehouse lights. Marcus took a breath. His head swam. His arm burned. He stepped out from behind the tank. Hey, he raised his hands. Looking for me. 3 flashlights converged on him. Where is she? Ray's voice dripped ice. Blood ran down his face from where the fire extinguisher had split his scalp. Where's Diana? Who? A fist buried itself in Marcus's stomach. He doubled over, gasping. I'm not playing games, Ray said. Tell me where she went. I make it quick. Make me hunt her down. He pressed the gun barrel against Marcus's forehead. And I take my time with you. Marcus straightened slowly, blood running down his arm, vision going gray at the edges. But somewhere out there, Diana was running. Every second he bought her was 1 second closer to help. You know what I figured out these past few months, Marcus said. When you've lost everything, nothing scares you anymore. You can threaten me, hurt me, kill me. He met Ray's eyes. But I'm not telling you a damn thing. Ray pressed the gun harder against Marcus's skull. Wrong answer. And then they heard it. Distant thunder. No, not thunder. Engines, growing louder. Closer, the sound building like a wave. Motorcycles. Dozens of them, maybe more. Ray's face changed. What the hell, Ian? Headlights crested the rise. So many they looked like stars falling to earth. They poured into the warehouse complex, 50, 100 more surrounding Ray and his men in seconds. Engines rumbling, chrome gleaming. Marcus saw the vests, the patches. Hell's Angels. 145 of them. Ray dropped his gun. The lead rider dismounted. Massive, gray beard, tattooed arms. His vest read Vice President. His name patch read Thunder. He walked toward them like a man who'd never been afraid of anything. Where Thunder said, is my wife, Diana appeared from behind a warehouse running. Thunder caught her, held her tight. This man, Diana said, pointing at Marcus, he saved me. He got shot protecting me. Thunder's eyes found Marcus. Marcus tried to stand straight. His legs were giving out. The world was spinning. You the one who saved my wife. Marcus nodded, tried to. Did what anyone would do. He managed. No. Thunder shook his head slowly. You didn't. Marcus's legs buckled. Thunder caught him before he hit the ground. Doc Murphy, Thunder bellowed. Get over here. This man needs help. Then to Ray, who was on his knees now surrounded by bikers. And somebody tell me why this piece of garbage is still breathing. The world went dark, but before it did, Marcus heard something he hadn't heard in months. His own name, spoken with respect. Hold on, Marcus. You hear me? You hold on. You're one of us now. One of us. When you've got nothing, those 3 words mean everything. Ta-da! Marcus woke to pain. Sharp. Burning. Someone was doing something to his arm. He tried to jerk away. Hold him down, a gruff voice. He's coming around. Hands pressed on his shoulders. Strong hands. Multiple hands. Marcus's eyes flew open. Faces above him, hard faces, bearded, scarred, leather everywhere. Easy, brother. A man with gray hair and kind eyes leaned into view. I'm Doc Murphy, former Army medic. I'm stitching you up. Where? You're safe, warehouse. Thunder's got you. Marcus tried to sit up. The hands pushed him back down. The woman, Diana, is she? She's fine, thanks to you. Doc Murphy's needle pierced skin. Marcus hissed. Sorry, no anesthetic. Gotta do this old school. How bad? You got lucky. Bullet grazed you half-inch deeper and you'd have bled out in that desert. Doc pulled thread through flesh. 7 stitches. You'll have a scar. Add it to the collection. Doc laughed. You got a sense of humor. Good, you're gonna need it. Marcus turned his head. He was lying on some kind of table. Around him, dozens of bikers stood in loose groups talking low. Their eyes kept drifting to him. Why are they staring? Because you did something stupid and brave. Doc tied off a stitch. Those two things don't usually go together. When they do, people notice. A commotion near the warehouse entrance. Voices raised, then Thunder's voice cutting through everything else. Bring him here, now. The crowd parted. Two bikers dragged Ray Donovan forward. His hands were zip-tied behind his back. Blood still ran from the gash on his head. His two men followed, similarly bound, similarly bloody. Thunder stood waiting, arms crossed, face like granite. The bikers dropped Ray at his feet. Vince. Ray's voice had changed. The predator was gone. Now he was prey, and he knew it. Listen to me. This was business. Just business. Business. Thunder's voice was flat. You call hunting my wife like an animal business. You owe me money from Chicago. I owe you nothing. Thunder's roar echoed off the walls. That deal went south because you got greedy. You brought heat on all of us. And now you come after Diana. After my wife. I wasn't going to hurt her. Liar! The word cracked like a gunshot. Every biker in the room went still. Thunder grabbed Ray by the throat and lifted him off his feet, one-handed, like Ray weighed nothing. You pulled a gun in front of her. You shot at her. You put hands on her. Thunder's voice dropped to a whisper. Somehow that was worse than the shouting. Give me one reason I shouldn't end you right here. Ray's feet kicked uselessly in the air. Marcus watched from the table. Part of him thought he should look away. Part of him couldn't. Vince, a new voice, calm, measured. An older man stepped forward. Long white beard, weathered face. His vest had more patches than anyone else's. Prophet, Thunder said without turning. Put him down. He threatened my wife, and he'll answer for it. But not like this. Not in front of 145 witnesses. Prophet put a hand on Thunder's arm. We handle this the right way. Club vote, like always. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Thunder dropped Ray. The scarred man crumpled, gasping, clutching his throat. Lock them up, Thunder said. All three. We vote in the morning. Bikers moved forward. Ray and his men were dragged away, disappearing through a side door. Thunder stood breathing hard. Then he turned and walked toward Marcus. The crowd parted for him like water. You awake? Thunder asked. Unfortunately. Thunder almost smiled. Almost. Doc, how's he doing? He'll live? Needs food rest fluids. Doc Murphy stepped back from his work. 7 stitches. He's lucky. Luck had nothing to do with it. Thunder looked down at Marcus. You took a bullet for a woman you never met. That's not luck. That's something else. Marcus didn't know what to say. What's your name? Thunder asked. Marcus Cole. Where you are, Marcus Cole? Sacramento, originally. And now, Marcus laughed bitterly. Nowhere, anywhere, wherever I end up sleeping. Thunder's eyes narrowed. You're homeless. Is it that obvious? You've got that look, hungry, tired, like you've been running a long time. Thunder pulled up a metal chair and sat down. Eye level with Marcus now. Diana told me what you did, how you stepped in when everyone else looked away, how you fought 3 armed men with nothing but a coffee mug and a chair. Wasn't thinking straight. No, you were thinking exactly right. Thunder leaned forward. Most people in that diner, they saw trouble, and they hid. Self-preservation, natural instinct. But you, he shook his head slowly. You saw a stranger in danger and you moved toward the fire. You know how rare that is. I just don't. Thunder held up a hand. Don't tell me anyone would have done it. That's a lie. I've been in this world a long time, Marcus. Seen a lot of people. Most of them look out for themselves first, second, and third. What you did tonight, he paused, searching for words. It means something. Diana appeared behind Thunder. Her eyes were red-rimmed but dry. She'd been crying earlier. Not anymore. Well, can I talk to him? She asked. Thunder stood, gave her his chair, and stepped back. Diana sat down and took Marcus's good hand in both of hers. You saved my life, she said simply. I don't know how to thank you for that. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Her grip tightened. When Ray grabbed me in that diner, I thought, I thought about all the things I'd never get to say to Vincent, to my mother, to everyone I love. Tears welled in her eyes. And then you stood up. This stranger with holes in his shoes and nothing in his pockets. You stood up when no one else would. Marcus's throat tightened. I know what it's like, he said quietly, to need help and have everyone look away. Diana studied his face. What happened to you, Marcus? How did you end up out here alone? The question hit harder than Ray's fist. Marcus looked at the ceiling, took a breath. 3 months ago, I had a life. Good job in construction, apartment, fiancé, everything I thought mattered. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. Then the company went bankrupt, jobs dried up, bills piled up, and Rachel, my fiancé, she left, ran off with my best friend while I was out looking for work. Diana's hand squeezed his. I couldn't make rent, got evicted, sold everything I owned for gas money and bus tickets. Marcus's voice was flat. Been drifting ever since. Town to town, shelter to shelter, looking for something that doesn't exist. What's that? A reason to keep going. The words hung in the air. Diana wiped her eyes. You found one tonight, you found me. I found trouble. You found family, and she corrected, even if you don't know it yet. She stood and walked to Thunder. They spoke quietly, heads close together. Thunder nodded several times. Then he turned and raised his voice. Brothers, gather up. The warehouse filled with movement. 145 bikers formed a loose semicircle around Marcus's table. He tried to sit up again. This time no one stopped him. Thunder addressed the crowd. Most of you don't know this man. His name is Marcus Cole. Tonight he saved Diana's life. He let that sink in. Ray Donovan had her. 3 armed men against a woman alone. Every person in that truck stopped, looked away. Except Marcus. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. He fought them with his bare hands. He took a bullet. He bought time for Diana to run, knowing he might die. Thunder's voice rose. He had nothing. Nothing, no money, no weapon, no backup. But he stood up anyway. A biker with a red beard spoke up. He one of us, Prospect? No, he's a stranger. A homeless man passing through. Silence. Then the red-bearded biker started clapping. 1 person at first, then 2, then 10. Then the entire warehouse erupted in applause. Whistles, cheers, fists pounding on tables. Marcus sat stunned. These were Hell's Angels, men the world called outlaws, criminals, dangerous, and they were cheering for him. Thunder raised his hand. Silence fell. Marcus needs help. He's got nowhere to go, nothing to his name, but he's got something more valuable than money. He's got heart. Thunder looked at the assembled bikers. I'm asking each of you to dig into your pockets. Give what you can. This man saved my wife. The least we can do is give him a fighting chance. The red-bearded biker stepped forward first. He pulled a wad of cash from his vest and pressed it into Marcus's hand. For you, brother. Before Marcus could respond, another biker stepped up. Then another. Then a flood. Bills pressed into his palm. 20s, 50s, hundreds. More money than Marcus had seen in months. Men who looked like they'd never said a kind word muttered thank you and respect. And you're solid. Marcus's eyes burned. I can't take this, he said, his voice thick. You can and you will. Thunder's hand landed on his shoulder. Hell's Angels take care of their own, and anyone who helps our family becomes family. The money kept coming. When it finally stopped, Marcus was holding more than he could count. That's about 4,000, Doc Murphy said, helping stack the bills. Enough to get you anywhere. Start over. Marcus stared at the money. His hands trembled. I don't understand. You don't know me. I'm nobody. Prophet stepped forward. The old man's eyes were sharp despite his age. You're wrong about that, son. You think you're nobody because you lost your job and your woman and your home. He shook his head slowly. But those things, they aren't who you are. They're just things that happen you to know. Then who am I? You're the man who stood up when everyone else sat down. You're the man who took a bullet for a stranger. Prophet's voice carried weight. That's not nobody, Marcus. That's somebody. That's the kind of man most people wish they could be. Marcus didn't trust himself to speak. A young biker pushed through the crowd. Barely 20. Nervous energy. Thunder, we got a problem. What now? Ray's talking, says he's got backup coming, says his crew will hit this place before morning. The mood shifted instantly. Tension crackled through the room. Thunder's jaw tightened. How many? He says 30, armed. He's bluffing, someone called out. Maybe, maybe not. Thunder looked around the room. Either way, we're not running. This is our gathering, our turf. Anyone wants to start something, they'll find 145 brothers ready to finish it. Cheers erupted, fists raised. Marcus struggled to his feet. His head swam, but he forced himself to stay upright. I should go, he said. This is my mess. I'm the one who... Sit down. Thunder's voice left no room for argument. You're not going anywhere. But if Ray's people are coming because of me, they're coming because Ray is a snake who made enemies everywhere he went. Has nothing to do with you. Thunder's eyes softened slightly. Besides, you're in no shape to walk 10 feet, let alone disappear into the night. Diana appeared with a plate of food. Burger, fries, still hot. Eat, she ordered. You look like you haven't had a real meal in weeks. Marcus wanted to argue, but the smell hit his nose and his stomach cramped so hard he almost doubled over. He ate. God, he ate. The burger was greasy and perfect. The fries were salty and hot. He tried to slow down to show some dignity, but hunger won. He cleared the plate in minutes. Diana watched him with sad eyes. How long since you ate real food? Marcus wiped his mouth. Couple days. Gas station hot dog before that. Oh, that's not food. That's garbage. It's what I could afford. She shook her head. Not anymore. Whatever happens next, you're not going hungry again. Not on my watch. Thunder returned, phone in hand. His expression had shifted. Just got off with the state president. Ray wasn't bluffing. His crew is mobilizing. 30 men headed this way. ETA about 4 hours. The room went quiet. What do we do? The red-bearded biker asked. We do what we always do. We stand our ground. Thunder looked around the room. Anyone who wants to leave, no judgment. This isn't your fight. Nobody moved. Nobody even breathed. Good. Thunder almost smiled. Then let's get ready. I want scouts on every road. Weapons checked. Anyone with medical training, stick close to Doc. We've got 4 hours to turn this warehouse into a fortress. The room exploded into organized chaos. Men moved with purpose, checking equipment, making calls, setting up positions. Marcus sat on his table watching. You should rest, Diana said. You've lost blood. I can't sleep while this is happening. Then at least lie down. Save your strength. She paused. You might need it. Marcus wanted to argue, but his body was screaming at him. The adrenaline had faded. The stitches in his arm throbbed. His vision was still fuzzy around the edges. Just for a few minutes, he said. He lay back on the table. Someone put a folded jacket under his head. Sleep came fast and hard. He dreamed of Rachel, of Derek, of his father's disappointed face. He dreamed of Diana screaming in the truck stop. He dreamed of bullets and blood and a scarred man saying wrong answer. Then a hand shook his shoulder. Marcus, wake up. Doc Murphy's face, urgent. What's wrong? They're here. Ray's people. Showed up early. Doc helped Marcus sit up. Thunder needs everyone who can stand. Marcus's arms screamed when he moved. He ignored it. Give me something to fight with. Doc hesitated. You sure you've barely recovered? I didn't take a bullet just to hide in the corner. Give me something. Doc nodded slowly, respect in his eyes. He handed Marcus a metal pipe. It's not much. It's enough. Marcus gripped the pipe and walked toward the front of the warehouse. The Hells Angels had formed a line near the main entrance. Thunder stood in the center, arms crossed. Outside, headlights, engines, the sound of car doors opening and closing. How many Tfel? Marcus asked, reaching Thunder's side. Counted about 25. Less than Ray promised. Thunder didn't look at him. You shouldn't be here. Neither should you. But here we are. Thunder glanced at him. Something flickered in his eyes. Respect, maybe, or surprise. You're either the bravest man I've ever met or the dumbest. Probably both. The warehouse doors burst open. Men poured in, armed, angry, looking for blood. At the front was a man Marcus didn't recognize. Tall, bald, tattoos crawling up his neck. Where's Ray? The bald man demanded. Thunder stepped forward. In custody, where he belongs. You're holding my brother against his will. Your brother attacked my wife, pulled a gun on her, tried to kidnap her. Thunder's voice was ice. He's lucky he's still breathing. Let him go, now, or we take him. Thunder laughed, actually laughed. You brought 25 men to face 145. You want to do the math? The bald man's confidence flickered. He looked around, really seeing the numbers for the first time. This isn't over, Steele. Yes, it is. Thunder took another step forward. Ray crossed a line. He threatened my wife. That's not business, that's personal. And when things get personal with me, they end badly. The bald man's hand moved toward his waistband. 45 guns appeared, all pointed at him. He froze. Here's what's going to happen, Thunder said. You're going to turn around. Get back in your cars. Drive away. Ray stays with us until we decide what to do with him. And if I don't, then we bury 25 bodies in the desert and nobody ever finds them. Silence stretched. Marcus gripped his pipe. His heart hammered. He'd never been in a standoff like this. Never even imagined one. The bald man's jaw worked. He was calculating. Could they win? Could they even survive? The answer was obvious. This isn't finished, he said finally. It is for tonight. Thunder's voice brooked no argument. Get out, now, before I change my mind about letting you walk. For a long, terrible moment, nothing happened. Then the bald man turned. His men followed. They disappeared through the warehouse doors. Engines started. Headlights retreated into the darkness. The tension broke like a fever. Bikers lowered their weapons. Cheers erupted. Men slapped each other's backs. Marcus exhaled. He hadn't realized he'd been holding his breath. Thunder turned to face his brothers. It's done, for now. He looked around the room. But this changes nothing. We vote on Ray in the morning. Until then, nobody sleeps. Scouts stay out. Perimeter stays locked. Acknowledgements rippled through the crowd. Thunder walked to Marcus. He looked at the metal pipe in Marcus's hand. You were really going to fight, with 7 stitches and a pipe. Told you, I'm probably dumb. No, Thunder shook his head. You're not dumb, you're loyal, and that's worth more than brains. He held out his hand. Welcome to the family, Marcus Cole. Marcus shook it. Thunder's grip was iron. What happens now? Marcus asked. Now we wait for morning. Then we vote on Ray's fate. Thunder paused. After that, we figure out what to do with you. I can leave. Head out before I cause more trouble. You could. Thunder's eyes held his. Or you could stay. Hear what I have to offer. What's that? A chance, a real one. Thunder glanced at Diana, who stood nearby watching. But that conversation can wait. Right now you need more rest, and more food, and about a gallon of water. Diana stepped forward. I'll take care of him. I know you will. Thunder kissed her forehead. I've got work to do. Keep him alive until morning. He walked away, already barking orders. Diana took Marcus's arm, the good one, and guided him away from the crowd. Where are we going? There's a room in the back, quiet, private. You can actually sleep there. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're running on fumes and stubbornness. She pushed open a door. In. Now. Marcus wanted to argue, but she was right. His legs were shaking. His vision kept blurring. He sat on a cot in the small room. Diana sat on a chair across from him. You don't have to watch me, he said. I want to. She smiled. Besides, I can't sleep either. Not after everything. I'm sorry for bringing this on you. You didn't bring anything, Ray did. Diana shook her head. If anyone should apologize, it's me. You got shot because of my problems. I got shot because I made a choice. Don't take that from me. Diana studied him. You really don't think you're worth anything, do you? The question caught him off guard. What? The way you talk about yourself, like you're nothing, like your life doesn't matter. Diana leaned forward. But you matter, Marcus. What you did tonight, it matters. You need to start believing that. Marcus looked at his hands, the calluses from years of construction work, the dirt under his nails, the blood still staining his fingers. It's hard, he admitted, when you lose everything, when everyone you trusted walks away. You start to wonder if maybe they were right. Maybe you really aren't worth sticking around for. Diana stood. She crossed the room and sat beside him on the cot. I know that feeling. Better than you'd think. She was quiet for a moment. Before I met Vincent, I was in a bad place. Terrible relationship. Guy who made me feel worthless every single day. Took me years to get out. Longer to realize I deserved better. How'd you do it? Get out. Someone helped me, a stranger. Woman at a bus station saw me crying and asked if I was okay. Diana smiled at the memory. I wasn't okay, hadn't been okay in years, but she listened, bought me coffee, gave me a phone number for a shelter. That one small act, a stranger caring, it changed everything. She looked at Marcus. Tonight you were that stranger for me. You were the person who cared when everyone else looked away. Her voice cracked. So don't you dare tell me you're nothing. Don't you dare. Marcus's eyes burned. He blinked hard. I don't know what to say. Say you'll give yourself a chance. Say you'll let us help you like you helped me. I don't even know what that means. It means staying, at least for a little while, letting Vincent find you work, letting us help you get back on your feet. Diana squeezed his hand. It means not running away just because you think you don't deserve good things. Marcus thought about the money in his pocket. $4,000, enough to go anywhere, but where would he go? Back to nothing. Okay, he heard himself say. I'll stay. Diana's face lit up. Really? For a little while, see what happens? He managed a small smile. But if I cause more trouble, you won't. Diana stood. Now sleep. Real sleep. I'll wake you when it's morning. She moved to the chair by the door. Marcus lay back on the cot. The mattress was thin, but it felt like a cloud after weeks of concrete and dirt. Diana. Yeah. Thank you for seeing me, for not looking away. Thank you for not letting me become a statistic. Her voice was soft. Sleep now, Marcus. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. He closed his eyes. For the first time in months, he didn't dream of loss and failure and everything he'd left behind. He dreamed of headlights in the darkness. He dreamed of strangers becoming family. He dreamed of a voice saying, "You're one of us now." And somewhere in that dream, Marcus Cole started to believe it might actually be true. Just said them. Morning came hard and fast. Marcus woke to the sound of engines. Lots of them. He sat up on the cot, his arms screaming in protest, and tried to remember where he was. The warehouse, the Hells Angels, Diana, it all came flooding back. The door opened. Doc Murphy stepped in, carrying a cup of coffee in a paper bag. You're alive, good. He handed Marcus both. Coffee's black, bag's got a breakfast burrito. Eat fast. Votes in 20 minutes. Vote, raise fate, Thunder's calling is all 145 members. Doc checked Marcus's bandage while he talked. Stitches look good, you heal fast. What are the options for Ray? Doc's face darkened. You don't want to know. Marcus took a bite of the burrito, still warm, eggs, cheese, bacon. His stomach thanked him. I got him into this mess. I should know. You didn't get anyone into anything. Ray made his choices. Doc finished checking the wound. But if you really want to know, there's 3 options. Exile, punishment, or the third thing. The third thing, Doc met his eyes. We don't talk about the third thing, and nobody picks it unless they have to. Before Marcus could ask more, Diana appeared in the doorway. They're starting. Thunder wants Marcus there. Me why by because you're the reason we caught Ray. Diana's expression was unreadable. Because you earned the right to see this through. Marcus finished the burrito in 3 bites and followed Diana out. The warehouse had transformed overnight. Gone were the makeshift medical station in scattered groups. Now 145 bikers stood in perfect formation facing a raised platform at the far end. Thunder stood on the platform. Prophet beside him. Between them on his knees was Ray Donovan. Ray's face was a mess. Swollen eye, split lip, blood crusted on his forehead. His 2 men knelt behind him, similarly beaten. Marcus moved through the crowd. Bikers nodded as he passed. Some clapped his shoulder. He felt like a ghost walking through a world he didn't understand. Diana led him to a spot near the front, close enough to see everything. Thunder raised his hand. Silence fell instantly. Brothers, we're here to decide the fate of Ray Donovan and his men. Thunder's voice carried without effort. You know what they did? They threatened my wife. They shot at an innocent man. They brought violence to our doorstep. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Ray claims this was business, that I owed him money from the Chicago deal. Thunder's jaw tightened. I'm going to say this once so there's no confusion. The Chicago deal fell apart because Ray got greedy. He brought heat from 3 different agencies. I lost 2 brothers because of his stupidity. I owe him nothing. Ray tried to speak. That's not quiet. This word hit like a physical blow. Ray flinched. You'll get your chance to speak, Thunder said, when I'm done. He paced the platform, his boots heavy on the wood. This isn't just about me, it's about Diana. It's about the code we live by. It's about what happens when someone crosses lines that should never be crossed. He stopped facing the crowd. I'm calling for a vote. 3 options. Exile Ray and his men leave, never come back. We catch them in our territory, again, no second chances. Punishment, we handle this internally. They pay for what they did. Blooded for blood. Or, he paused, the 3rd option. The one we don't talk about. The silence was absolute. Before we vote, does anyone speak for Ray? Nobody moved. Anyone? Still nothing. Then from the back of the crowd, a voice. I'll speak for him. Every head turned. A man pushed through the crowd, middle-aged, gray at the temples. He wore a Hell's Angels vest with a patch Marcus couldn't read from this distance. Thunder's expression flickered. Bones, you're speaking for Ray. I am. Bones reached the front of the crowd. He's a snake and an idiot, but he's been in the life 30 years. That deserves something. It deserves nothing, someone shouted. Let him talk, Prophet said quietly. Thunder nodded. Speak, Bones. Bones cleared his throat. Look, I'm not defending what Ray did. Going after a man's wife, that's wrong. We all know it. But exile punishment for a dispute over money. It wasn't a dispute, Thunder said coldly. It was an attack. Was it though? Bones gestured at Marcus. Who's this guy? Some homeless drifter who stuck his nose where it didn't belong. Maybe he escalated things. Maybe without him, Ray talks to Diana, works out a deal, everybody goes home. Marcus felt the crowd's eyes shift to him. You're blaming the man who saved my wife. Thunder's voice dropped dangerously low. I'm saying there's more to this story than one side. Bones crossed his arms. Ray's an ass, but he's our ass. 30 years in the Brotherhood. You want to throw that away over this? The crowd murmured, divided. Ray lifted his head. Vince listened to him. This can still be settled. I'll pay restitution. Walk away clean. You'll never see me again. You shot at my wife, Thunder said. I shot at the vagrant, not Diana. You pointed a gun at her. I have witnesses. She was never in danger. She was terrified. Thunder's roar silenced everything. I saw the look in her eyes when she told me what happened. The woman I love, the mother of my future children, she thought she was going to die. Because of you. He stepped toward Ray, fists clenched. Prophet moved between them. Vince, control yourself. Thunder stopped. His chest heaved. For a long moment, he just stood there, visibly fighting for composure. Fine, he finally said. We vote. Bones, you've made your case. Anyone else want to speak? Silence. Then we vote. Exile, raise your hand. Marcus counted. Maybe 30 hands went up. Punishment. At least 60 hands. The 3rd option. The remaining 55 hands rose. Thunder looked at Prophet. It's split. What's the call? Prophet stroked his white beard. Punishment wins the plurality, but it's not a majority. So we revote between punishment and the 3rd option. That's the rule. Thunder turned back to the crowd. You heard, Prophet. 2nd vote. Punishment, raise your hand. The hands went up. Marcus tried to count. It was close. Too close. The 3rd option, more hands, maybe more than before. Prophet counted carefully. 73 for the 3rd option, 72 for punishment. 1 vote, the warehouse erupted. Recount, someone yelled. Bullshit, someone else. Thunder raised his hand. Quiet, the noise died. Prophet counted. The 3rd option wins by 1 vote. Thunder's face was stone. The decision stands. Ray's face went white. Vince, Vince, please, you can't. I can. The brothers have spoken. I'll do anything. Anything you want. Just, it's not my decision anymore. Thunder looked at Ray with something that might have been pity. You should have thought about this before you touched my wife. Two bikers moved forward. They grabbed Ray's arms and hauled him to his feet. What's happening? Marcus whispered to Diana. Her face was pale. The third option. What is it? She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Ray was dragged toward a side door, screaming now, begging. His two men followed silent, defeated. The door closed behind them. The sound that followed was like nothing Marcus had ever heard. He turned away. His stomach churned. Diana took his arm. Let's get some air. They walked outside. The morning sun was bright and warm. Birds sang in distant trees. Normal sounds. Normal world. But nothing felt normal. I don't understand, Marcus said. What just happened? Club justice. Diana's voice was flat. Ray made his choice. Now he pays for it. They're going to kill him. The third option isn't killing. It's worse. Diana met his eyes. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Marcus's mind raced. He'd stumbled into a world he didn't understand. These people, they'd welcomed him, fed him, given him money. But they were also capable of things he couldn't imagine. Having second thoughts, Thunder's voice came from behind them. Marcus turned. The big man stood in the doorway, his expression unreadable. I don't know what I'm thinking, Marcus admitted. Fair enough. Thunder walked toward them. What you just saw, it's not something we do lightly. Ray had 30 years to learn how we operate. He chose to ignore the rules. That's on him. I'm not judging. Aren't you? Thunder studied his face. Most people would. Most people would run the other direction and never look back. I'm not most people. No, you're not. Thunder glanced at Diana, then back at Marcus. That's why I want to talk to you. Make you an offer. What kind of offer? Walk with me. They moved away from the warehouse toward a line of motorcycles parked in neat rows. 145 bikes gleaming in the morning light. I've got a brother, Thunder said. His name's Pete. Runs an auto shop about 50 miles from here. Good business. Honest work. Marcus waited. Pete needs help. He's got more work than he can handle. Been looking for someone reliable for months. Thunder stopped beside a massive black Harley. The job comes with a room above the shop, small but clean. You'd have a place to sleep, food in your belly, money coming in. Why me? Because you proved yourself. Thunder ran a hand over his bike's chrome. Most people talk about doing the right thing. You actually did it. That matters to me. I don't know anything about cars. You know about building things, construction, right? That's what Diana told me. Thunder shrugged. Cars aren't that different. Engines, parts, systems. You'll learn. Marcus thought about the $4,000 in his pocket. He could take that money and disappear. Start over somewhere far from here. But start over as what? Another drifter. Another homeless man counting change in the dark. What's the catch? And he asked. No catch. But there is an understanding. What kind of understanding? Thunder turned to face him fully. You saw what happened in there. You're part of this now, whether you wanted it or not. If you stay, you're under our protection. But that means loyalty. It means when we call you, answer. It means keeping your mouth shut about what you see and hear. You want me to become a Hell's Angel? Not unless you want to. That's a separate thing, a long road, years of prospecting. Thunder shook his head. What I'm offering is simpler. Work, shelter, family. In exchange, you're one of us. Not a member, but a friend. Someone we trust. Someone who trusts us. Marcus looked back at the warehouse. He thought about Ray Donovan somewhere inside paying a price Marcus couldn't imagine. This life, he said slowly. It's not simple, is it? No, it's not. Thunder's honesty was disarming. We do things most people wouldn't understand, but we also protect our own. We take care of each other. When the world kicks you down, we're the ones who help you stand back up. Like you're doing for me. Exactly like that. Marcus took a deep breath. The morning air was clean and cold. It filled his lungs like possibility. Okay, he said, I'll try it. The job, the room. See how it goes. Thunder smiled. It transformed his face, made him look almost gentle. Good choice. He held out his hand. Welcome to the family, Marcus. They shook. Thunder's grip was iron, but this time it felt like a promise instead of a threat. Diana will ride with you to Pete's place. Get you settled. Thunder started walking back toward the warehouse. Once you're on your feet, maybe you can get your own bike. Learn to ride. Every man should know how to ride. I've never been on a motorcycle. Then you've got something to look forward to, Shom. Thunder paused at the warehouse door. Oh, and Marcus, yeah. That money the brothers gave you, don't spend it all at once. Save some. Build something. When you've got nothing, money feels like everything. But it's not. It's just a tool. Use it wisely. He disappeared inside. Diana appeared moments later, helmet in hand. Ready to go. I guess so. Marcus looked around one last time. What about Ray's men? What happens to them? Same thing. They made their choice when they followed him. And his brother, the one who showed up last night, Diana's expression hardened. He's been warned. If he comes near you or me or anyone connected to the club, he'll get the same treatment. This world you live in, Marcus said, it's violent. The whole world is violent, Marcus. We just don't pretend otherwise. She handed him a helmet. Come on, Pete's expecting us. The ride took almost an hour. Marcus sat behind Diana on her bike, holding on as the desert flew past. The engine roared beneath them. The wind tore at his clothes. It should have been terrifying. Instead, it felt like freedom. When they finally pulled into Pete's auto shop, Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in months, hope. The shop was exactly what Thunder had described. A big garage with 3 bays, cars in various stages of repair, the smell of oil and grease and honest work. A man emerged from one of the bays, wiping his hands on a rag. He had Thunder's build, but fewer tattoos. His smile was immediate and warm. You must be Marcus, he extended a hand. I'm Pete. Heard you saved my niece. I did what anyone would do. Diana was right. You do say that a lot. Pete laughed. Come on, let me show you around. The tour took 30 minutes. Pete explained everything, the different bays, the tools, the schedule. Most of it went over Marcus's head, but he nodded and tried to absorb what he could. The room above the shop was small but perfect. A bed with clean sheets, a desk, a dresser, a window that looked out over the street. It's not much, Pete said. It's more than I've had in months. Marcus ran a hand over the bedspread. It's perfect. Pete nodded, satisfied. There's a bathroom down the hall. Kitchen downstairs, help yourself to whatever's in the fridge. We start work at 7, knock off at 5. Sundays are off. What do you want me to do? Today, nothing, rest, eat, get your bearings. Pete headed for the door. Tomorrow we'll see what you know. Start from there. After Pete left, Marcus sat on the edge of the bed. He pulled out his phone, the cheap one he'd had for months, barely functional. He scrolled through his contacts. There weren't many. His mother had died 3 years ago. His father had never been in the picture. Rachel had blocked his number weeks ago. But there was one name he kept coming back to. Emma, his little sister. Half-sister, technically. Same mother, different fathers. She was 18 now, living with her dad somewhere in Oregon. They hadn't talked in months, not since Marcus's life fell apart. He'd been too ashamed to call, too proud to admit how bad things had gotten. His finger hovered over her name. What would he even say? Hey, Emma, your big brother is a homeless wreck who just fell in with a biker gang. He put the phone away. Maybe later, when he had something real to tell her, when he'd proven he could stand on his own feet. A knock at the door. Diana stood in the hallway, a bag in her hand. Thought you might need some things. She handed him the bag. Toothbrush, razor, some clean clothes. Vincent's guys picked them up this morning. Marcus looked inside. Everything was new. His size. You didn't have to do this. I know. Diana leaned against the doorframe. But I wanted to. You gave me my life back, Marcus. Let me help you start yours. He didn't know what to say. I'll let you get settled. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Marcus? Yeah. That phone Vincent's brother gave you, the one with all our numbers. Use it, not just for emergencies. Call if you're lonely. Call if you're struggling. Call just to talk. Her eyes held his. You're not alone anymore. Start acting like it. She left. Marcus sat back down on the bed, the bag of supplies in his lap. He thought about where he'd been 24 hours ago. A brick wall behind a closed shop. $43. Nowhere to go. Now he had a room, a job. People who cared whether he lived or died. It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. But maybe it didn't have to. Maybe sometimes life handed you something good for no reason at all. And the only thing to do was grab it with both hands and hold on. Marcus lay back on the bed. For the first time in months, he slept without dreaming of everything he'd lost. He dreamed instead of everything he might find. The next morning, he woke at 6. Pete found him already downstairs trying to make sense of the coffee maker. "You're early." Couldn't sleep past dawn, old habit. Pete showed him how the machine worked. They drank coffee together, standing in the garage as the sun came up. "Diana says you were in construction. 8 years, foreman by the end." "What happened?" Marcus told him. The short version: company went under, fiancé left, lost everything. Pete listened without interrupting. "That's rough," he said when Marcus finished. "But you're still standing. That's what matters." "Barely standing. Barely counts." Pete set down his cup. "Come on, let's see what you know about cars." The answer, it turned out, was not much, but Marcus was a fast learner. Always had been. And Pete was a patient teacher. They started with the basics: changing oil, rotating tires. Things Marcus could do without much guidance. By lunch, he'd completed his first oil change. Simple work, but it felt good. Productive. Real. "Not bad for a construction guy," Pete said. "Tomorrow, I'll show you brakes." They ate lunch together, sandwiches from a cooler in the back. "Pete," Marcus said between bites, "can I ask you something?" "Shoot." "How did you end up here running a shop instead of, the other thing?" Pete chuckled. "You mean, why aren't I riding with the club, raising hell like Vincent?" "Something like that. Different paths, same family." Pete wiped his mouth. "Vincent's the warrior. Always has been. He needs the action, the brotherhood, the life. Me, I just wanted to build things, fix things, have something quiet. The club doesn't mind. Mind what I'm still family, still connected. Just do it my own way." Pete shrugged. "That's the thing about the Angels. There's room for different kinds of people. Not everyone has to be a fighter. Some of us are builders, healers, providers." "Which one am I?" Pete studied him. "I don't know yet. Maybe you don't either. But that's okay. You'll figure it out." The afternoon passed quickly. Marcus lost himself in the work, in the rhythm of tools and engines, and Pete's patient instructions. By 5 o'clock, his hands were black with grease, and his back ached from bending over cars. It felt amazing. "Same time tomorrow," Pete said. "Get some rest." Marcus climbed the stairs to his room. He showered, changed into the clean clothes Diana had brought, and stood by the window. The sun was setting. Orange and pink streaked across the sky. His phone buzzed. A text from Diana. "Dinner at our place tonight. Vincent's cooking, 7 p.m. Don't be late." Marcus smiled. He typed back, "I'll be there." Then before he could talk himself out of it, he opened his contacts and called Emma. The phone rang 3 times. "Hello," her voice. Older now, but still familiar. "Em, it's me. It's Marcus." Silence, then, "Oh my God, Marcus. Are you okay? I've been trying to reach you for weeks." "I know, I'm sorry. Things got bad, Em. Really bad." "Where are you?" "Nevada. Working at an auto shop." He laughed, surprising himself. "It's a long story." "I've got time." So Marcus told her. All of it. The job loss, Rachel's betrayal, the months of drifting, the truck stop, Diana, the bikers. Emma listened without interrupting, just like she had when they were kids, and Marcus would tell her stories to help her sleep. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "You saved someone's life," she finally said, "and they gave you a second chance." "Yeah, I guess they did." "That's incredible, Marcus. You're incredible." "I'm not." "Shut up." "Yes, you are." Her voice cracked. "I thought I'd lost you. I thought you were dead somewhere, and I'd never know what happened. And now you're telling me you're working, you've got a place to live, you've got people looking out for you." "Yeah, I do." "Then hold on to it. Whatever you have to do, hold on to it. Don't run away. Don't disappear again." Marcus's eyes burned. "I won't, Em. I promise." "Good," she sniffed. Now tell me more about these bikers. They sound terrifying. Marcus laughed. They are, but they're also good in their own way. They talked for another hour about nothing important, about everything that mattered. When Marcus finally hung up, his face hurt from smiling. He looked at the clock, 6:45. Time to go to dinner. He grabbed his jacket and headed out into the night. For the first time in longer than he could remember, Marcus Cole was looking forward to tomorrow.
다시
Dinner at Thunder's house wasn't what Marcus expected. He'd imagined something rough, maybe a rundown place with bikes in the yard and beer cans everywhere. Instead, Diana opened the door to a warm, welcoming home. Family photos on the walls, the smell of roasted chicken filling the air. You made it. Diana hugged him like they'd known each other for years. Come in. Vincent's in the kitchen. Marcus followed her inside, still adjusting to this new reality. Thunder stood at the stove wearing an apron that said, "Kiss the cook." He was stirring something in a pot, his massive hands surprisingly gentle. Marcus, Thunder turned grinning. Grab a beer, sit down. Food's almost ready. I didn't know you cooked. 12 years in the club, you learn a few things, especially when your wife burns water. Thunder winked at Diana. I heard that, Diana called from the other room. You were meant to. They sat around the kitchen table like old friends. Chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, simple food perfectly made. Marcus ate like he hadn't eaten in weeks. Old habits. Slow down, Diana laughed. The food's not going anywhere. Sorry, I'm still getting used to regular meals. Thunder and Diana exchanged a look. How bad was it? Thunder asked quietly. Out there. Marcus set down his fork. Bad enough. There were nights I didn't know if I'd wake up in the morning. Shelters full, streets cold, people looking through you like you didn't exist. But you kept going. What choice did I have? Plenty of people give up, take the easy way out. Thunder shook his head. You didn't. That says something about you. Diana reached over and squeezed Marcus's hand. You're safe now. That's what matters. The conversation shifted to lighter things. Thunder told stories about his early days in the club. Diana talked about her job as a nurse before she married Vincent. Marcus shared memories of construction sites, of building things with his hands. For a few hours, he almost forgot everything that had happened. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. Marcus almost ignored it. Go ahead, Thunder said. We're not formal here. Marcus answered. Hello. Is this Marcus Cole? A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. Who's asking? My name is Detective Sarah Chen, Sacramento Police Department. We've been trying to reach you for several weeks. Marcus's blood went cold. What's this about? It's about your former employer, Harrison Construction, and a woman named Rachel Torres. The name hit him like a physical blow. What about Rachel? Mr. Cole, when was the last time you saw Miss Torres? 3 months ago, she left me, moved in with my former friend. Why bother him? Ms. Torres filed a complaint against you. She claims you have been stalking her. What? Thunder and Diana both looked up, alarmed. She says you've been sending threatening messages, following her, making her fear for her safety. That's insane. I haven't contacted her in months. I don't even have her new number. We've also received reports that you may have been involved in financial irregularities at Harrison Construction before it went bankrupt. Marcus's grip tightened on the phone. That's a lie. I had nothing to do with the company's problems. Mr. Cole, I'd like you to come in for questioning. The sooner we clear this up, the better. I'm not in Sacramento anymore. Where are you, Mom? Marcus hesitated. Every instinct screamed at him not to answer. I'm traveling, working. I see. The detective's voice sharpened. Mr. Cole, if you don't cooperate voluntarily, we may have to pursue other options. I didn't do anything wrong. Then come in and prove it. We can arrange. Marcus hung up. His hands were shaking. The phone nearly slipped from his fingers. What happened? Diana's voice was urgent. You look like you've seen a ghost. Maybe I have. Marcus stared at the phone. My ex-girlfriend asked. She's filing charges against me. Stalking. Some kind of financial crimes. Things I didn't do. Thunder leaned forward. Start from the beginning. So Marcus told them about Rachel, about Derek, about how they'd left him with nothing, about the company going bankrupt right when his life fell apart. And now she's claiming I stalked her. Marcus's voice cracked. I haven't spoken to her since she walked out. I've been too busy trying not to die. Thunder and Diana listened without interrupting. When Marcus finished, Thunder was quiet for a long moment. This Derek, he finally said. Tell me about him. My best friend since high school, or so I thought. Marcus's jaw tightened. He was there through everything. Stood up at my engagement party, helped me move into our apartment. And the whole time he was sleeping with Rachel behind my back. You think he's behind this? I don't know. Maybe. Marcus ran a hand through his hair. He works in finance. He knows how to manipulate numbers, make things look different than they are. If anyone could frame me for something, why would he? To cover his tracks, to make sure I never come back. Marcus shook his head. I don't know. I can't prove anything. Diana spoke up. We know people, lawyers, investigators. We can look into this. I can't ask you to, you're not asking. Thunder cut him off. You're family now. When family has problems, we help. That's how this works. Marcus looked between them. These people he'd known for barely 48 hours, ready to go to war for him. Why, he asked, why do you care so much? Thunder leaned back in his chair. Because you cared about Diana when you didn't have to. Because you stood up when everyone else looked away. His voice softened. And because I know what it's like to have the world turn against you for things you didn't do. What do you mean, story for another time? Thunder stood. Right now we focus on your problem. First thing tomorrow, I'm making some calls. We'll find out what's really going on with your ex and her new boyfriend. And the police? Don't talk to them, not without a lawyer. Thunder's voice was firm. Anything you say can be twisted. I've seen it happen. Marcus nodded slowly. His appetite was gone. The warm feeling from dinner had evaporated. Diana stood and began clearing plates. You should stay here tonight. We have a guest room. Pete's expecting me at the shop. I'll call Pete. He'll understand. Diana's voice left no room for argument. You've had a shock. You shouldn't be alone. Marcus didn't have the energy to fight. Okay. Thunder clapped him on the shoulder. We'll figure this out. Trust me. I trust you. I just don't trust the rest of the world. Smart man. Thunder headed for the living room. Get some rest. Tomorrow we start fighting back. The guest room was small but comfortable. Marcus lay in the dark staring at the ceiling. His mind raced through possibilities. Rachel, Derek, the police, someone was trying to destroy him. Someone who wasn't satisfied with just taking his fiancée in his life. They wanted to erase him completely. But why? What did he know that was worth all this trouble? His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Back off, Marcus. Stop asking questions. Or what happened to you will be nothing compared to what's coming. Marcus sat up, heart pounding. He stared at the message, read it again. Someone knew where he was. Someone was watching. He started to type a reply, then stopped. That's what they wanted. A response, proof that he was rattled. Instead, he screenshotted the message and forwarded it to Thunder. 3 seconds later, his phone rang. You got that just now? Thunder's voice was wide awake. Yeah. Stay where you are. I'm calling Prophet. It's 2 a.m. Prophet doesn't sleep. Stay put. The line went dead. Marcus sat in the darkness waiting. 20 minutes later, headlights swept across the window. The sound of motorcycles, multiple bikes pulling into the driveway. Thunder's voice from downstairs. Marcus, come down. He went. The living room was full. Thunder, Diana, Prophet, Doc Murphy, and 4 other bikers Marcus vaguely recognized from the warehouse. Show them the message, Thunder said. Marcus handed over his phone. Prophet studied it, his weathered face unreadable. Sent from a burner, Prophet said. Untraceable, but sloppy. Whoever sent this is an amateur trying to look professional. What does that mean? It means they're scared. Prophet handed back the phone. Someone who's truly dangerous doesn't warn you. They just act. This is theater. Someone trying to intimidate you into backing off. Backing off from what I'm not investigating anything. Not yet. Thunder crossed his arms. But maybe they think you will. Maybe there's something they're afraid you'll find. One of the bikers, the red-bearded man from the warehouse, spoke up. You said Harrison Construction went bankrupt. You ever look into why? The owner said it was bad investments. Market conditions. You believe that? Marcus thought about it. I didn't question it at the time. I was too busy losing everything else. Maybe you should question it now. Prophet stroked his beard. In my experience, when someone works this hard to silence you, it's because you know something, even if you don't know you know it. How do I figure out what I know? Start at the beginning. Think about everything that happened before the company went under. Strange meetings, unusual transactions, people acting different. Marcus's mind went back. 3 months ago, the weeks before everything fell apart. There was something, he said slowly. About a week before they announced the bankruptcy, I came in early one morning, found Derek in Harrison's office. They stopped talking the second they saw me. What were they discussing? I don't know. They said it was nothing. But Harrison looked scared, like I'd caught them doing something they shouldn't. Prophet and Thunder exchanged looks. Your friend Derek, Prophet said. He worked in finance. Yeah, for an investment firm downtown. And Harrison Construction was struggling financially. So they said, what if they weren't struggling? Prophet leaned forward. What if someone made it look that way, cooked the books, siphoned money, collapsed the company on purpose? Marcus's blood chilled. Why would anyone do that? Insurance fraud, set stripping, a dozen reasons. Prophet's eyes were sharp. And if they did it, they'd need a fall guy, someone to blame if things went wrong. Me. You were the foreman. You had access to records, equipment, materials. Easy to frame. Prophet nodded slowly. Your ex-girlfriend filing charges, the police asking questions. It's all starting to make sense. Diana's voice cut through. They're trying to pin the whole thing on Marcus. Before he figures out what really happened. Thunder's jaw tightened. Smart, ruthless, but they made a mistake. What's that? They came after someone who's got 145 brothers watching his back. Thunder looked at the assembled bikers. We're going to find out what really happened to Harrison Construction. And when we do, someone's going to answer for it. The room rumbled with agreement. Marcus felt overwhelmed. 48 hours ago, he'd been ready to give up on life. Now he had an army ready to fight for him. How do we start? He asked. I know a guy, the red-bearded biker said. Works in forensic accounting. Owes me a favor. I can have him dig into Harrison's finances. I got contacts at the Sacramento DA's office, Doc Murphy added. I can find out what kind of case they're really building. Prophet raised a hand. This has to be done carefully. We can't go in guns blazing. We need evidence, proof that can hold up in court. How long will that take? Weeks, maybe longer. Prophet met Marcus's eyes. Can you keep your head down that long? Do I have a choice? You always have a choice. That's the point. Marcus took a breath. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not running anymore. Thunder smiled grimly. Good, because running's not an option. They're watching you now. They know where you are. The only way through this is forward. The meeting broke up around 4 in the morning. Bikers headed back to their homes, their missions clear. Marcus stood on the porch with Thunder, watching the bikes disappear into the darkness. You should try to sleep, Thunder said. I don't think I can. Try anyway. Tomorrow's going to be long. Marcus didn't move. Something was bothering him. Thunder, can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you really take me in the full truth? Thunder was quiet for a long moment. You remind me of someone, he finally said. Someone I couldn't save. Who? My brother. Not Pete, another one, Johnny. He was younger than me, got into trouble young, drugs, bad debts, worse people. Thunder's voice was distant. I was too busy building the club, making a name for myself. I didn't see how bad things had gotten until it was too late. What happened to him? He took his own life, 19 years old. Thunder's hands gripped the porch railing. I found him in our mother's garage, with a note that said he didn't think anyone would notice if he was gone. Marcus's chest tightened. I've carried that for 20 years. Every day I think about what I could have done differently, how I could have saved him if I'd just paid attention. Thunder turned to face Marcus. When I saw you in that warehouse bleeding alone with nothing, I saw Johnny. I saw a man the world had given up on, and I swore I wouldn't look away this time. Marcus didn't know what to say. That's why, Thunder continued, not just because you saved Diana, but because you deserve someone to save you. Everyone does. They stood in silence for a while. I won't waste this chance, Marcus finally said. I promise you that. I know you won't. Thunder clapped his shoulder. Now get some sleep. We've got a war to win. The next 3 weeks were a blur. Marcus threw himself into work at Pete's shop. Days filled with engines and oil and the satisfying rhythm of fixing things. Nights filled with phone calls, updates, and slowly building a case against the people who had framed him. The forensic accountant found irregularities in Harrison Construction's books. Money transfers that didn't add up. Payments to shell companies that didn't exist. Doc's contacts at the DA's office confirmed that the case against Marcus was thin, built on accusations from Rachel and circumstantial evidence that wouldn't hold up under scrutiny. But the most damning discovery came from an unexpected source. Marcus was working late one night when a woman walked into the shop. Young, maybe 25, nervous, looking over her shoulder like someone might be following her. "Are you Marcus Cole?" Marcus wiped his hands on a rag. "Who's asking?" "My name is Amy. Amy Harrison. My father owned the company where you worked." Marcus stiffened. "Harrison's daughter. He's not really my father. Stepfather." Amy's voice trembled. "But that's not important. What's important is I know what they did to you, and I have proof." Marcus's heart stopped. "What kind of proof?" Amy reached into her bag and pulled out a flash drive. Everything, emails, financial records, recordings. Her hands shook as she held it out. "Derek and my stepfather, they destroyed the company on purpose, took the money and made it look like bankruptcy, and they planned from the beginning to blame it on you." Marcus took the flash drive. It felt impossibly heavy in his hand. Why me?" "Because you were honest, because you asked too many questions, because they knew you'd eventually figure out what they were doing." Amy's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't know until it was too late. By the time I found out, they'd already destroyed everything. Your job, your relationship, your life. Why are you coming to me now?" "Because they're getting ready to do it again, to someone else." Amy wiped her eyes. "I can't live with myself if another innocent person gets hurt. I just can't." Marcus stared at the flash drive. 3 months of hell. 3 months of thinking he was worthless, broken beyond saving. And the whole time it was manufactured, designed, a lie built to destroy him. Something cold and hard settled in his chest. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Help me expose them. All of them. My stepfather, Derek. Rachel too, she knew what they were doing and went along with it." Amy's voice steadied. "We go to the police with this evidence, they go to prison. It's over." "Why not go to the police yourself?" "Because I'm scared." Amy's voice broke. "These people, they'll kill me if they find out what I've done. I need protection. I need someone who can make sure this evidence gets to the right people no matter what happens to me." Marcus thought about Thunder, about the 145 bikers who had promised to protect him. "I know some people," he said slowly. "People who can help keep you safe." "Bikers," Amy nodded. "I know, that's why I came to you." "How do you know about them?" "Because I've been watching you, Marcus, since you left Sacramento. I needed to know if you were someone I could trust." She looked at him with desperate hope. Can I trust you?" Marcus looked at the flash drive in his hand. The key to everything. The proof that could set him free and destroy the people who had ruined his life. "Yeah," he said. "You can trust me." He pulled out his phone and called Thunder. "We need to meet. Right now. I've got something big." 45 minutes later, Marcus, Amy, Thunder, and Prophet sat around the table in Thunder's living room. The flash drive was plugged into a laptop. Emails scrolled across the screen. Financial records. Damning, undeniable evidence. "This is enough to put them away for years," Prophet said quietly. "Wire fraud, securities fraud, insurance fraud, conspiracy. And they framed Marcus for all of it." Diana's voice shook with anger. "They destroyed an innocent man to cover their crimes." Thunder looked at Amy. "You understand what happens next. Once we go public with this, there's no going back." "I know. They'll come after you, hard. Let them try now." Amy's chin lifted. "I'm done being scared. I'm done letting them hurt people. Thunder nodded slowly. Brave girl. You've got more guts than most men I know. He turned to Marcus. This is your call. It's your life they destroyed. You want to go to the police? Go public. What's the play? Marcus stared at the screen. The evidence that proved everything he'd known was true. He thought about the weeks of hell, the hunger, the counting, the feeling that nobody in the world gave a damn whether he lived or died. He thought about Rachel's face when she walked out, Derek's smug satisfaction, the casual cruelty of people who had pretended to love him. And he thought about Thunder, Diana, Pete, the 145 bikers who had welcomed him into their family. I want them to pay, Marcus said. All of them, every single person who did this to me. Then that's what we'll do. Thunder stood. Tomorrow we take this to the FBI, federal jurisdiction for the fraud charges, state charges for the conspiracy against Marcus. By this time next week, your ex-girlfriend and her boyfriend will be wearing orange. Marcus felt something release in his chest, a weight he had been carrying for months. Thank you, he said, all of you. Don't thank us yet. Prophet's eyes were serious. The hard part is just beginning. They're not going to go down without a fight. Let them fight. Marcus stood, his voice steady. I've been fighting my whole life. I know how to win. Thunder smiled. Now that, he said, is the Marcus Cole I knew was in there somewhere.
Titatam.
The FBI moved faster than Marcus expected. 3 days after Amy delivered the flash drive, agents showed up at Harrison's mansion in Sacramento. Derek's apartment was raided the same morning. Rachel's car was stopped on the highway heading toward the Mexican border. Thunder got the call while Marcus was working on a transmission at Pete's shop. They're in custody, all three of them. Marcus set down his wrench. His hands were shaking. It's over. Not quite, but close. Thunder's voice carried satisfaction. Agent Reynolds wants to meet with you. Take your statement. Amy's already given hers. When tomorrow morning, Sacramento field office. I'll ride with you. Marcus stared at the engine in front of him. 3 months ago, he'd been running from Sacramento. Now he was going back, as a witness instead of a suspect. Marcus, Thunder's voice cut through his thoughts. You okay? Yeah, just processing. Take the rest of the day off. Get your head right. Marcus didn't argue. He cleaned up, climbed the stairs to his room, and sat on the edge of his bed. The same bed he'd collapsed into 3 weeks ago, broken and bleeding. Everything had changed since then. Everything. His phone buzzed. Emma. I heard the news, she said the moment he answered. It's all over the Sacramento stations. They arrested Derek and Rachel. Yeah, I know. How do you feel? Marcus laughed. It came out strange, somewhere between relief and disbelief. I don't know, Em. Happy, scared, vindicated. He rubbed his face. I keep waiting to wake up and find out it's all a dream. It's not a dream. It's real. Emma's voice was fierce. They're going to prison, Marcus. The people who destroyed your life, they're going to pay for what they did. The FBI wants my statement tomorrow. You nervous? Terrified? Don't be. You've got nothing to hide. They do. Emma paused. I wish I could be there. Me too. Call me when it's over. Let me know how it goes. I will. After they hung up, Marcus lay back on the bed. Tomorrow he'd face the people who had tried to erase him. He'd look them in the eye and tell the truth about what they'd done. The thought should have filled him with dread. Instead, he felt something he hadn't felt in months. Power. The ride to Sacramento took 4 hours. Marcus sat behind Thunder on the big Harley, watching the desert give way to farmland, then suburbs, then the familiar streets of the city he'd fled. They pulled up to the FBI field office at exactly 9 o'clock. Agent Reynolds was waiting in the lobby, tall black with sharp eyes and a firm handshake. Mr. Cole, thank you for coming in. Thank you for believing me. The evidence speaks for itself. We just needed someone to point us in the right direction. Reynolds gestured toward an elevator. We got a lot to cover. This way. Thunder squeezed Marcus's shoulder. I'll be right here when you're done. You're not coming. This is your fight. You've got to finish it yourself. Thunder's eyes held steady. But I'm not going anywhere. Take your time. Marcus followed Reynolds into the elevator. The interview room was small and plain. A table, 2 chairs, a recorder. Reynolds sat across from Marcus and pressed a button. Interview with Marcus Cole regarding case 2024-7891. Mr. Cole, please state your full name for the record. Marcus James Cole. And your relationship to the defendants. Marcus took a breath. Rachel Torres was my fiancée. Derek Walsh was my best friend. Robert Harrison was my employer. Tell me in your own words what happened. So Marcus talked. He started from the beginning, the construction company, the years of building something he believed in, meeting Rachel, trusting Derek, watching his life come together piece by piece. Then he talked about the fall, the company's sudden bankruptcy, Rachel leaving, Derek disappearing, the months of homelessness, hunger, and despair. He talked about the truck stop, Diana, the knife and the gun and the bullet that had changed everything. Reynolds listened without interrupting. Occasionally he'd nod or jot a note. When Marcus finished, 2 hours had passed. Mr. Cole, Reynolds said carefully, I have to ask you something. When you discovered what they'd done, the fraud, the framing, were you tempted to take matters into your own hands? Marcus thought about it honestly. For about 5 minutes, he admitted. Then I realized that wasn't who I wanted to be. I'd spent my whole life building things, houses, careers, relationships. I wasn't going to let them turn me into someone who destroys. Reynolds nodded slowly. That's a mature perspective. Many people in your position wouldn't have that restraint. I had help. People who reminded me that revenge isn't the same as justice. The Hell's Angels. Marcus tensed. Is that going to be the problem? Not for this case. Reynolds closed his notebook. Whatever your associates do in their personal time is beyond the scope of my investigation. What matters here is that you were the victim of a sophisticated conspiracy and you did everything right in bringing it to our attention. What happens now? Now we build the case. Harrison's already talking, trying to cut a deal by giving up Derek and Rachel. Derek's lawyer is making noise about a plea bargain. Rachel bet victim. Reynolds paused. Rachel isn't cooperating. That sounds like her. We have enough to proceed with or without her testimony, but I should warn you there will be a trial. You'll have to testify. Face them in court. Marcus's stomach tightened. I can do that. Are you sure defense attorneys can be brutal? They'll attack your credibility, your time on the streets, your connection to the motorcycle club. Let them try. Marcus's voice hardened. I've got nothing to hide. They're the criminals, not me. Reynolds stood and extended his hand. You're a tough man, Mr. Cole. I'll be in touch about the trial date. Marcus shook his hand and left. Thunder was waiting exactly where he'd promised. He stood when Marcus emerged, searching his face for clues. How'd it go? Good, I think. Marcus exhaled heavily. There's going to be a trial. I'll have to testify. You ready for that? I don't know, but I'll do it anyway. Thunder smiled. That's the only answer that matters. They walked toward the parking lot. Marcus's legs felt weak like he'd run a marathon. Thunder, I want to see them. Who? Derek and Rachel. Before the trial, before the lawyers and the courtrooms and all of it. Marcus stopped walking. I need to look them in the eye. I need them to know I'm not broken. Thunder studied him for a long moment. That's a bad idea. I know. It could mess up the case, give their lawyers ammunition. I know that too. Thunder sighed, but you're going to do it anyway. I have to. Why? Marcus thought about the question, really thought about it. Because for 3 months I let what they did define me. I was the victim. The fool. The guy who got played. He clenched his fists. I'm done being that guy. I need to show them and myself that I'm something else now. Thunder was quiet for a long time. He finally said, I know people. I can probably arrange a visit. Supervised. Brief. That's all I need, Owens. You sure about this? More sure than I've been about anything in a long time. Thunder nodded. Then let's make it happen. The county jail was cold and gray. Marcus sat in a visitation room, hands flat on the table, waiting. The door buzzed. Derek Walsh shuffled in wearing orange, hands cuffed. He looked different, smaller somehow. The cocky swagger was gone. His eyes were hollow. When he saw Marcus, something flickered across his face. Fear, guilt. Hard to tell. A guard pushed Derek into the chair across the table. 10 minutes, the guard said and stepped back. For a long moment, neither man spoke. Then Derek laughed. bitter, broken. Marcus, the survivor. Derek, the criminal. Derek's jaw tightened. I suppose you're here to gloat. No, I'm here to understand. Marcus leaned forward. Why we were friends, brothers almost. I trusted you with everything. Why did you do this to me? Derek looked away. You wouldn't understand. Try me. Because I was tired of being second. Derek's voice cracked. Second best, second choice, always standing in your shadow. Marcus stared at him. My shadow was a construction foreman. You worked on Wall Street. And everyone still liked you better. Everyone trusted you more. Even Rachel. Derek's eyes burned with old resentment. She talked about you constantly. Marcus is so honest. Marcus is so good. Marcus would never let me down. It made me sick. So you took her from me. I didn't take her. She came willingly. Derek's smile was ugly. She was already looking for a way out. I just gave her one. And the fraud. The frame job. That was Harrison's idea. He needed someone to blame when the company went under. You were perfect, honest, trusting, completely oblivious. Derek shrugged. I just helped him set it up. Marcus felt something cold settled in his chest. You destroyed my life for jealousy, for petty resentment. Don't act so innocent. You had everything. The job, the girl, the respect. You didn't even appreciate it. I appreciated everything I had. That's why losing it almost killed me. Derek's face changed. Just for a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. I heard you were homeless, living on the streets. You heard right. That wasn't supposed to happen. You were just supposed to take the fall, fade away quietly. Sorry to disappoint you. Derek looked down at his cuffed hands. For what it's worth, I didn't think it would go this far. I didn't think you'd end up, starving, sleeping behind dumpsters, almost dying in a truck stop in the middle of nowhere. Derek flinched. You don't get to feel sorry now, Marcus said quietly. You don't get to pretend you didn't know what you were doing. You made a choice. Every day you made a choice to destroy me instead of coming clean. I know. And now you're going to prison. I know that too. Marcus stood up. I came here because I needed to look you in the eye. I needed to see if there was anything left of the man I thought was my friend. He shook his head slowly. There isn't. You're empty, Derek. Whatever was good in you died a long time ago. Marcus, we're done, Barbarian. He walked toward the door. Marcus, wait. He stopped but didn't turn around. I'm sorry, Derek said. I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't change anything. But I'm sorry to him. Marcus stood there for a long moment. You're right, he finally said. It doesn't change anything. He knocked on the door. The guard let him out. In the hallway, Thunder was waiting. How do you feel? Empty. Marcus rubbed his eyes. But free. You want to see Rachel too? Marcus thought about it. The woman he'd loved for 12 years. The woman who had betrayed him completely. No, he said. She doesn't deserve my time. Thunder nodded. Smart choice. They walked out of the jail into the afternoon sun. The trial came 6 months later. Marcus had spent those months building a new life, learning cars at Pete's shop, having dinners with Thunder and Diana, becoming a regular presence at club gatherings. He had also started therapy, a counselor in town who specialized in trauma. Thunder had suggested it, and Marcus had been surprised to find it helpful. You've been through hell, Dr. Chen told him during their first session. It's going to take time to heal. Be patient with yourself. Patience wasn't Marcus's strong suit, but he tried. The courtroom was packed on the first day of trial. Marcus sat in the witness gallery flanked by Thunder on one side and Diana on the other. Prophet was in the row behind them. Doc Murphy, too. Across the aisle, Rachel and Derek sat at the defense table. Harrison had taken a plea deal and was already serving his sentence. When Rachel saw Marcus, her expression flickered. Then she looked away. Derek stared straight ahead, refusing to make eye contact. The prosecution's case was devastating. Amy testified about the financial irregularities she'd discovered. The forensic accountant laid out the fraud in meticulous detail. FBI agents presented emails and recordings that proved conspiracy. When Marcus took the stand, his voice was steady. The prosecutor walked him through his story. The job loss, the betrayal, the months of homelessness, the night at the truck stop that had changed everything. Defense lawyers tried to shake him. They brought up his connection to the Hells Angels, his months without a fixed address, his lack of formal education. Marcus answered every question calmly. You expect this court to believe that you had no knowledge of the financial problems at Harrison Construction. I was a foreman, Marcus said. I built things. I didn't handle the books. But you had access to records, equipment, materials. Access isn't knowledge. I trusted the people I worked with. That was my mistake. A convenient excuse. It's the truth. Check the records. Check the emails. Check the security footage. You won't find a single piece of evidence that connects me to the fraud because there isn't one. The defense attorney faltered. No further questions. The verdict came 3 weeks later. Marcus was at the shop when Thunder called. It's done. Guilty on all counts. Marcus's legs went weak. He sat down on a stack of tires. Both of them. Rachel got 12 years. Derek got 15. 12 years. 15 years. It felt unreal. Marcus, you there? Yeah, I'm here. How do you feel? Marcus thought about the question. Really thought about it. Like I can finally move on. That night, there was a celebration at the clubhouse. 145 bikers raised their glasses to Marcus. Thunder gave a speech about courage and family and what it meant to stand up when the world pushed you down. Diana cried. Prophet smiled, which he almost never did. Pete slapped Marcus on the back so hard he almost fell over. You did it, kid, Pete said. You actually did it. We did it, Marcus corrected. I couldn't have done any of this alone. That's the whole point, isn't it? Pete's eyes were bright. None of us can do it alone. That's why we've got each other. Later, Marcus stood outside the clubhouse looking up at the stars. Diana found him there. Penny, for your thoughts. Just thinking about how different things could have been. Marcus shook his head. If I hadn't stopped at that truck stop, if I'd looked away like everyone else, I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere. But you didn't look away. No, I didn't. Diana stood beside him, shoulder to shoulder. You know what Thunder says about you? What? He says you're the bravest man he's ever met. Not because you're not afraid, but because you act anyway. Marcus laughed softly. That doesn't feel true. It is, though. Diana turned to face him. Most people spend their whole lives avoiding risk, playing it safe, looking out for themselves. But you run toward the fire every time. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe you're exactly what the world needs more of. She hugged him, a real hug, the kind that meant something. Thank you, she whispered, for saving my life, for being part of our family. Thank you for giving me a family to be part of. The next morning, Marcus woke up early. He made coffee in Pete's kitchen, then walked outside to watch the sunrise. A year ago, he'd been a foreman with a fiancée and a future. 6 months ago, he'd been homeless, broken, counting pocket change behind a truck stop. Now he was something else entirely. His phone buzzed. Emma. I saw the verdict on the news. Congratulations. Thanks, Em. So what happens now? Marcus looked at the sun climbing over the horizon, the desert painted in shades of gold and red. Now I keep building. Building what? Whatever comes next. A career, maybe a home of my own someday, relationships, a life. That sounds good, Marcus. That sounds really good. What about you? When are you coming to visit? Soon, I promise. I want to meet these bikers who saved my brother. They'd like you. You've got the same stubborn streak I do. Emma laughed. It runs in the family. After they hung up, Marcus walked to the garage. Pete was already there, coffee in hand. You're early. Couldn't sleep. Big day yesterday. Takes time to process. Marcus grabbed a rag and started wiping down the workbench, a habit he'd developed over the past months. Pete, can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever wonder if things happen for a reason? Like there's some kind of plan? Pete considered the question. I used to think life was random, just chaos, no meaning. He took a sip of coffee. But then I watched someone like you hit rock bottom, climb back up, find your way to us, and I think maybe there's something more going on. What kind of something? I don't know, call it fate, destiny, God's plan, whatever you want. Pete shrugged. But I think we're put in each other's paths for a reason. You were put in Diana's path that night. That wasn't random. It felt pretty random at the time. Most miracles do. Pete smiled. The point is, you made a choice. You could have looked away. You didn't. And that choice changed everything. Thunder arrived at noon with news. Got a call from Amy. She's doing okay. FBI set her up with witness protection for a while, but she's thinking about coming back once things settle down. That's good. She deserves a normal life after everything. She says she owes you, says she wouldn't have had the courage to come forward if she hadn't heard about what you did. She was the brave one. She's the one with the evidence. Bravery comes in different forms. Thunder sat down on a workbench. Speaking of which, the club has been talking. About what? About you. Thunder pulled something from inside his vest, a leather patch. You're not a member. You are not a prospect. But you're family, and family gets recognized. He handed Marcus the patch. It read, "Friend of the club." Marcus stared at it. His throat tightened. This belonged to Prophet's son, Thunder said. He died in Afghanistan. Prophet wanted you to have it. Well, I can't accept this. Prophet says you can and you will, his exact words. Thunder smiled. He also said if you refuse, he'll personally ride over here and knock some sense into you. Marcus laughed even as his eyes burned. Then I guess I'm accepting. Damn right you are. 3 months later, Marcus bought a motorcycle. Nothing fancy. A used Harley that needed work. He spent weeks restoring it, learning every bolt and wire, making it his own. The day he finally took it out on the open road, Thunder and Diana rode beside him. The wind rushed past. The engine roared beneath him. The desert stretched out to the horizon. For the first time in his life, Marcus Cole felt completely free. They stopped at a diner for lunch, the same kind of roadside place where everything had started. You've come a long way, Diana said, watching him over her coffee cup. Couldn't have done it without you. Any of you. You did the hard part yourself, Thunder said. We just gave you a chance. That's the thing, though. Marcus set down his fork. A chance is everything. When you've hit bottom, when you've got nothing left, a single chance from a single person can change everything. That's why we do what we do, Thunder said. The club takes care of its own. But it also takes care of people who deserve a shot. People like me. People like you. That night, Marcus called Emma. I've been thinking, he said, about what I want to do next. Tell me. I want to help people. People like me, people who hit rock bottom and think there's no way back up. Marcus stared out the window at the stars. I want to start some kind of program. Work with shelters, maybe. Show people that second chances are real. That's amazing, Marcus. Thunder says he knows some people who might be interested in funding it. Bikers with money and a conscience. The Hells Angels starting a charity, Emma laughed. That's not what I expected. That's the thing about people, Em, they surprise you. The people everyone thought were monsters turned out to be my family. The people I trusted most turned out to be the real monsters. So what's the lesson, Pooh? Marcus thought about it. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't give up when things get dark. And when you see someone who needs help, don't look away. That's good advice. Learned it the hard way. 1 year to the day after the truck stop, Marcus stood in front of a small crowd. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Second Chance Center, a facility for homeless individuals to get back on their feet, funded by anonymous donors, staffed by people who understood what it meant to lose everything. Thunder was there, Diana, Pete, Prophet, Doc Murphy, dozens of bikers in their leathers standing beside social workers and counselors and politicians. An unlikely crowd, but then Marcus had learned that the best things in life usually were. A reporter pushed through for a question. Mr. Cole, what made you want to start this center? Marcus looked at the building behind him, at the people gathered around him. Because someone gave me a chance when I didn't deserve one, he said, and it saved my life. Everyone deserves that chance. Everyone. After the ceremony, Marcus walked through the center, the rooms that would house people who had nowhere else to go, the kitchen that would feed them, the counseling offices that would help them heal. Diana found him standing in the main hallway. You okay? More than okay, Marcus smiled. A year ago, I was sleeping behind a dumpster with $43 to my name. Now I'm standing in a building that's going to help hundreds of people find their way back. That's quite a journey. It is. He turned to face her. But here's the thing, it didn't start when I saved you in that truck stop. It started when you refused to let me give up. When Thunder gave me a job and a home. When Prophet gave me that patch and told me I was family. We just saw what was already there. Maybe, but you helped me see it too. He hugged her, the kind of hug that meant everything. That night, Marcus rode his motorcycle out into the desert. He stopped at the same truck stop where everything had changed. The Desert Oasis Gas and Grill. The sign was fixed now, all the letters were working. He walked inside, the same red-haired waitress was behind the counter. She looked up when he entered. Coffee. Please, she poured him a cup. You look familiar. Do I know you? I was here about a year ago. There was an incident, a woman being attacked. Recognition dawned. You're the guy, the one who fought those men. That's me. I heard about what happened after. The trial, the charity. She smiled. You're famous around here. People still talk about that night. What do they say that a stranger with nothing risked everything to save someone else? She leaned against the counter. That's not something you see every day. Marcus sipped his coffee. It tasted exactly the same as it had that night. Can I tell you something? He just said. Sure. That night I had $43 and no reason to live. I walked into this place ready to give up. And then I saw a woman who needed help. He set down his cup. Saving her saved me. That's the truth. The waitress's eyes softened. That's beautiful. It's just life. It works in strange ways. He paid for his coffee, left a generous tip, and walked back to his motorcycle. The stars were out, thousands of them scattered across the black desert sky. Marcus sat on his bike and looked up at them. He thought about everything he'd lost. The job, the fiancé, the best friend, the home. He thought about everything he'd found, the family, the purpose, the second chance. And he realized something important. The worst thing that ever happened to him had led to the best things that ever happened to him. The destruction had led to rebuilding. The betrayal had led to true loyalty. The loneliness had led to belonging. He started his bike. The engine roared to life. Marcus Cole rode toward the horizon, toward whatever came next, knowing one thing for certain. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find out what you're really made of. And sometimes the people who save you are the ones the world least expects. He had walked into that truck stop a broken man with nothing left to lose. He rode out of this desert a man with everything to live for. And that made all the difference.
Chapter 2.
If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel and share it with someone who needs to hear that second chances are real. Drop a comment below. Tell us about a time when a stranger changed your life or when you became the stranger who changed someone else's. Because the world needs more people who refuse to look away.